morning, guys. Nice to see everybody on this last day before the new year starts. It's always like that great time to reset and revamp and get going for a new year, but we want to close off 2022 with something fun. So we're just going to do a nice, easy yoga flow. We'll add in a little power, a little energy, and just like go out with a bang is how I'm feeling about it. I need that. And then we're going to start 2023 drama free. It's going to be amazing. So we're going to start down on our mat. All you need is a set of blocks today. Super simple. We're going to take our knees wide and our big toes to touch, and then we're going to settle down into an extended child's pose variation. Let your belly fall down towards the mat and just soften as your hips sink a little more intensely towards your heel bones. Let your arm bones stretch long and your palms spread wide. Then just slowly let your third eye, that's the point between your brows, settle down onto your mat. Once you're there, take 5 big deep breaths. Nice long 5-second inhale through the nose. Nice open mouth exhale for 5 seconds. And that's just getting our breath ready for the practice. It's also sort of time to get present onto the 4 corners of your mat and to really start to check in with the body and get a little more internal and a lot less external, which we spend most of our days doing. As I speak, just breathe, get connected to your energy, and maybe move a little organically. The hips can sashay side to side. You can rotate rib cage, just anything organic that's speaking to your body right now. Then take one more big inhale, nice big open mouth exhale, ha. And on your next inhale, rise up tabletop pose. We'll take our right leg directly out from the hip joint on the floor, grounded. Inhale, cat dog tilt. Exhale, round and curl. So it's just a nice way to stretch the adductor muscles, the inner thigh and groin. Do 3 cat dogs for me, please. Round and curl, find your energetic space. Start to connect that breath-body movement. After your third one, go ahead and swing that leg back into tabletop pose. You can do a little cat dog chasing tail to reset. Before switching sides, let the left leg swing out directly from the hip joint, grounded to the floor. Inhale, start your cat dog tail sequence. Push through, round and curl. Inhale to find some space through your spinal extensor muscles. Do that 3 times, matching what you did on the first side. And then once again, after you've done 3, swing that leg back in slowly towards your tabletop pose. Take 1 handprint forward on your tabletop pose. Tuck your toes under, and on your next breath, exhale, ride those hips back to downward facing dog. Now get settled into your space, right? Move right to left, walk the dog as we call it, shift your hips side to side, rotate your rib cage up or down towards the earth. Just find all those little movements that are calling to you to get you a little more grounded on the 4 corners of your mat, but also internally within your body. Take another big breath there. Start to fall into stillness as you get grounded in your downward facing dog. Then take an adjustment of the feet or hands as necessary and glide all the way forward to upward facing dog. Allow your thighs to settle to the floor as well as the feet. Pull your chest through your bicep muscles as you gently bend the elbows to make that attainable. And then take a little twist as you roll over one thigh. Look over opposite shoulder for a nice psoas opener. Both legs remain as straight as possible. You can even drop all the way into cobra pose if the back is not ready for all the way into up dog. You play the variations that make sense in your own body. Then tuck your toes, stomach in, ride that breath back, downward facing dog. Just long enough to walk your feet up behind your wrist bones. Gather your arm into each cradling opposite elbow and get really heavy over your toe ball mounds. Take a nice pendulum swing. I like to even wrap around the outer edge of my shin bone. It really helps open up the low leg, ankle stabilizers, and even into that lower back and hamstring area. Shake your head yes and no. Make sure there's no tension there. And then release your arms all the way down to the mat. A deeper knee bend as your belly comes to your thighs. Ragdoll roll rise slow, one vertebra at a time, all the way up to the top. Head neck is always last there. Step your feet in a little bit closer. They don't need to come all the way to touch because it's nice to have a little grounded energy. Then take an interlace of those palms and draw them overhead. Take an inhale to look up. Stretch your chin bone all the way to the sky so you get all these little scalene muscles to lengthen. Then exhale, chin to chest. Drive your pinkies farther back so you stretch like a good morning stretch. One more time, inhale to look up. And exhale, chin, chest. Continue to drive arm bones long. Then bring the head to neutral, ears right between those biceps. Take a nice, easy side bend over. You can rest your right ear on your right shoulder. Really drive through the top heel of hand to get an opening all the way down the intercostals and into that hip crest. Then we're going to do a little round the world, gentle bend of the knees. Let your body come down around, fold through your forward fold. Come up around to your left side. Find your side bend as you open and take a breath there. Then we rise back up through neutrality and we'll go the other way. Take an inhale, ride your breath into side bend, let your head rest on your bicep if it's available, and then drive that heel of the right hand hard to the left. Then slowly continue to ride the breath down, bend the knees so you have that accessibility in your back early, and then bring it up into your right side bend to finish up to the top. Take a nice big release of those arms. Interlace your fingers behind your sacral bone. Push your knuckles down towards your tailbone. Take an inhale, and then just a nice ear, shoulder. Really get some space along these upper levators and your trap muscles. Those neck muscles get tight. Do that in both directions. Again, just waking the body up tip to tail. Then take a nice stretch of those knuckles skyward away from your sacral bone and just get a nice stretch for your chest expansion. Sorry, I'm like fumbling over my words right now. Then release that out and just give your arms a little shake. That'll let that lactic acid and anything else that's going on in those muscles kind of drain out. Give them a nice shake. Then we'll start up at the top of our mat. Big toes to touch. Seal those legs up. Samastitihi, same on all sides pose. Take a nice inhale in through the nose and an open mouth. Exhale, ha, to get grounded once again. On your next inhale, we'll take those arms overhead, mountain pose, Tadasana. Exhale, Anuvatasana, baby back bend. Shine your heart to the sky and bump your hips forward as you find that expansion of the chest. Inhale, mountain pose, arms high. Exhale, chair, airplane, arms sit deep into your heel bones. Be able to lift your toes up off the floor. And then really pull the energy in through the arm bones, stomach in tight. Take another breath or so here to heat up those leg muscles. And then on your next inhale, right leg high, single leg Tadasana for our balance and stability. Use your core. And on your step back, it's going to be warrior one, back foot down and flat, about a 45 degree. Both hip bones point straight forward, tummy in. Arms come up overhead, let the palms touch and look for those thumbs somewhere above the bridge of your nose. For proud warrior, ride that arm circle all the way around as you bring your vision forward. Interlace fingers behind the sacrum. Take a big breath in. On your exhale, humble warrior, bring those ribs of the left leg or left side body down into your left thigh bone. Let your head drop heavy, look all the way back to your right heel as your knuckles go skyward. Take one more breath there. Then release those hands down to your blocks that are at the top of the mat and lift your right leg for a single leg halfway lift. Spine is long from my crown all the way through that back heel, keeping my hip bone dialed down. Now if you want a little more energy, to add a twist, take your left arm high, but don't lose the intensity on your back leg. It'll tend to want to drop. Try to keep it elevated using core and also those thoracic muscles of the spine. Take another breath, and then exhale. Everything sinks back to the floor. Ha. Get a little heaviness in the back, bend the knees, and ragdoll roll rise to reset. Roll those shoulder heads back, Samastitihi, belly in. Inhale, arms overhead, mountain pose, Tadasana. Anuvatasana, baby back bend. Last one today, shine your heart skyward and cradle your back with your shoulder blades as they come in towards the spinal column. Inhale, mountain pose, grow tall. Exhale, chair, airplane, arms one more time here. This time, as always, we kind of like to add on if we can. Let's take a drinking bird, lift those heels high, cinch in at the knee bones, and feel that balance working into the ankle stabilizers, all the metatarsals of the feet. If you drop out like I just did, come on back in. Take another breath there. Then on your way up, you'll lower the heels and take single leg Tadasana, left leg high. Feel your stomach, get your balance set before stepping back down in flat warrior one. Again, hip bones forward, 45 back foot, tummy in, tailbone draws downward. Palms to touch somewhere and look for that above the bridge of the nose as you arch back slightly for proud warrior. You'll get a really nice opener in this front psoas. And take another breath as you ride that arm circle around. Interlace your fingers behind the booty once again and take the goofy thumb on top, the thumb that doesn't naturally go there, for symmetry and balance in the body. Inhale. Exhale, humble warrior. Bring those right ribs down to right thigh. Let the head drop heavy as you look to your back heel. Really energize that back leg so you feel the stretch in the calf. And then knuckles again once. Say stretch to the sky, finding chest expansion. Release those arms on your next breath, fingertips to block. Single leg halfway lift. This time left leg lifts. Hip bone dialed down as well as big toe. Find length and space. If you did it on the first side and you want to redo your twist, take that right arm skyward as you revolve open. Keep your back leg long and tight. You have to really breathe through the diaphragm in order to twist while keeping the back leg up in the air. Take one more breath there, and then fold everything back down to a forward fold hop. This time a little different. Inhale, halfway lift, fingertips, shin bones, long spine, just like the halfway lift we did before with one leg. Then plant your palms down and hop, step, or float back to top of a push-up pose. Holding here, really long line of energy from crown to heels. Keep your heels right over your toe ball mounds so you're really engaging, locking muscle to bone. Take another breath, inhale. And on your exhale, downward facing dog, adjust where necessary. Middle toe lines up with heel bones, spread your fingers wide and find some space ear to shoulder so you're not shrugged up into those shoulder blades. On your next inhale, right leg high, take a big breath, open the hips, scorpion tail that leg over the left shoulder blade. Looking under your right arm for a little added twist. That's going to be a nice psoas hip opener. Then re-extend long behind you, three-legged down dog, before stepping that all the way through to your thumbs, low lunge. Long line of energy here once again, plugging that right femur back. Open twist, belly through the thigh, top arm reaches to the sky. Roll your wrist for a little synovial fluid and really find that belly spinning so that you get that nice twist in your thoracic, your belly, all the way into the low back. Take another breath and then let that hand come down to the floor long enough to reset. You're going to rise up all the way, spin your arms open for warrior two. Make sure shoulders are over hips. That back leg is dynamically straight and arm bones are spreading long and wide north to south. On your next inhale, reverse warrior, turning slightly front so that upper quadrant of the rib cage opens. Gives you a nice stretch from the hip bone all the way through. Take another breath there. And then ride that breath to side angle pose. You can rest forearm to thigh or bring it all the way down to the ankle or floor, as long as you maintain top ribs over bottom ribs and a long line from crown to bottom heel. So wherever that angle takes you, play with it and make it feel good in your own skin. On your next inhale, we're going to rise up Prasarita. Toes parallel forward front, arms out wide like wings. Take an inhale here and then come over to a flat back, nice and easy using our core. Keep pulling those shoulder blades toward one another to use your upper back muscles. Then let that whole thing drain down to the floor. Hop. Walk your hands through the back side of that Prasarita and try to touch your third eye, your forehead, or your crown to the floor for a little added stretch. Feel that all through the inner thighs and of course the hamstrings and the booty. Then slowly walk your hands back, forward. Take them out wide like wings and rise up using your core and the strength of your inner thighs and pelvic floor as you lift all the way skyward. Pivot your feet back around to the front for pyramid pose. Really standard hatha flow. We love it. And then we're going to round down slowly as we reach 4. You can either keep your hands together so that you have balance while you're working on your balance, or you can separate them one side of the front foot. Then slowly fold your forehead down towards your shin bone as you keep both legs really strong and straight. You can have a subtle bend on this front knee. Then slowly bend into that front knee before stepping that leg nice and high, 3-legged downward facing dog. Keep the leg floating as you inhale forward, top of a push-up pose. And then slowly, Ekapada Chaturanga, one leg down all the way. Take that into an upward facing dog, inhale. And all the way back to a downward facing dog on your exhale. Take 2 breaths here to reset. Before we go into that second side, ha. Inhale, left leg high. Bend the knee, scorpion tail, this time over the right shoulder blade. As you look under the left armpit for an added twist and torque. Take a breath there before re-extending, hips dialed down. And then stepping through, use your tummy muscles for low lunge. Set up your lunge, plug that femur head back, lock those hips in place. Then we do an open twist, but we do it from the belly and the spine, not from the hip girdle. Really important to learn that difference. Spin that tummy a little bit more, take one more breath, maybe roll that wrist to get that synovial fluid. Then bring that hand back down and reset before rising up, spinning back foot flat for warrior 2. Nice deep knee bend. The knee comes right over middle toe, pinky toe. Arms extend long, belly pulls in, shoulders over hips. All the little nuances, right? Take an inhale as you rotate slightly up for a baby back bend and side bend, stretching from that hip bone, but keep the integrity of your front lunge. Take another breath there and then ride that breath to side angle pose. Once again, you can rest gently top of thigh, right? Bicep can come over ear, or you can bring that hand down and just find this beautiful angle pose as long as, once again, those ribs are rotated top on above the bottom and you're not having to bend down through the body. Last breath there, beautiful movement, and then rise up, this time heels in, toes out, star pose. So it's a big X, right? Take that big, gorgeous X, and then exhale, hands, heart center. Ride that down into your sumo squat. We're gonna pick our right foot up, and we're gonna pulse it out for 5, 4, right straight down the middle. See my alignment, we're not going away from the foot or toward it, just right down the middle. Lower that heel, pick up the opposite one, and go 5 little pulses, strengthening our ankle stabilizers again, balance in foot. Then lower that down, taking one last drive, both heels skyward, and hold. You've got 5, breathe well, pull in from that pelvic floor, those adductor muscles, stomach in, have your dristi set. On your next breath, you can slowly lower those heels down, rise up, star pose, that's our big X, like a good morning pose. Then hands will touch as we pivot feet back around to the front. Inhale. Pyramid pose, traditional style. Biceps and ears stay matched until we come down. Continue to drive front femur back. Then you can separate palms to the earth or your blocks and fold over front shin bone or knee. Try to sip in a couple breaths of air there, working on our thyroid, getting stimulation. And then bend the knee gently long enough to step that leg back and high, downward facing dog, 3 legs. Then come forward once again on a single leg, Ekapada Chaturanga, strong arms in tight to the rib cage, 1 leg lifted. Nice job, guys. Lower that down to the floor. Inhale, rise up, upward facing dog. This time, take that breath back, child's pose. Ha. Give me 2 breaths here in child's pose to let the energy settle, let that chi come back down. Then when you're ready, you're gonna rise up slowly onto your knees, tuck your toes under and sit your hips back on your heels. This is toe torture, you're gonna stretch out the arches of the feet. and all the way into the base of the foot and the toes as well. Helps us keep the arthritis out of the joints of the feet. Tip to tail yoga, right? Couple breaths there. Then when you've had enough, which most people do, scrunch the toes in, make little feet rolls with your ankles. And then go around and come all the way to a seat. We're gonna do a little boat pose, Navasana. I like to hold on to the backs of my thighs so that I can get my spine where I want it, long line, right? Keep those bottom back muscles, the kidneys lifted. You can take one toe up at a time so that, see what happens is we wanna right? Because that's not using our abdominals. So we gotta get lifted, we gotta find that traditional boat pose, and then we hold. Now this may be enough for you today. You can hold on behind those thighs and feel that energy in your core, or you can extend your arms long if you need more arms overhead. Lots of variations, lots of places to go. This is for your core, it's very important. Holding 5, try not to make it all hips and thighs, make it right into the gut and those transverse muscles. You've got 4, just 3. Keep your breath going, stay with me. I'm fighting it all the way through with you. In 2, 1, butterfly pose, bottoms of feet come together. Reach forward to your toes and then draw your body line. Lengthening forward, not just rounding. We can round and go back, it's not going to be the same. We want to try to find space and length and then fold forward. Remember some of the stuff we've done in the past, you can always take blocks and place it there for your third eye. The goal would be 1 block down, third eye, and then anywhere where the arms want to be, that it's not hindering the stretch. You want to feel those hip creases. Again, inner thigh adductors and hips. Take about 2 more breaths in your butterfly pose, whichever variation you've chosen, and just really enjoy the sensation of that stretch. Then you'll walk yourself back up. You'll remove the blocks so they can be, once again, 1 on each side of the mat. I like to keep them around so that if I need them as a bolster or a prop, they're right there for me. Then really slowly, we're just gonna lower ourselves down. Use your stomach muscles. We don't just flop like a dead fish, right? We wanna integrate the stomach into everything we do, lowering back down to the floor. Take a minute to pull your shin bones up into your belly, maybe a rock, or maybe a couple of circles. That kind of helps reset that SI joint, that sacral area. Then we're gonna let the feet float down to the floor. We're gonna walk our arms long down beside our body. You should almost be able to graze the back of your heel with your middle finger. Lock your shoulder blades down into the floor and peel up your hips to bridge pose. Traditional yogi style, push down into the back of your skull a little. That's gonna create space, chin to chest. And then lift higher there from your musculature. Using backs of arms by pushing through the hands and really squeezing booty, hamstrings, even feeling it in those transverse muscles, those lumbar back muscles. Take 2 more breaths here in that beautiful bridge pose. Just more strength for our core and long energy into the back, hamstrings, and butte. Lower that down nice and slow. I like a happy baby after bridge. It just feels good. Reach for the outside pinky toe, or you can yogi hook your big toe. Pull those thigh bones down alongside your rib cage, and if you feel grounded and stable, you can gently rock that side to side. Then when you're ready to let that go and it feels like it's been a really nice stretch, maybe 3 to 5 breaths, we're just gonna really slowly take those legs up the wall pose. Leave our hands down alongside our body, and if you have a bad back or weak abdominals, you can even tuck them under that sacral low back area. We're gonna lower our legs nice and slow on a 10 count using our abdominals. You wanna really scoop that low lumbar down into the floor. You wanna really pull that low gut muscle in tight, but you don't wanna pop shoulder heads or get tension here. This should all be very relaxed and neutral as we do all of it through our core. If you want the challenge, you can always stretch your arms overhead, but still remaining relaxed and keeping the shoulder heads down. We'll lower down in 3, in 2, and 1. Ha. Take a second, just let everything marinate. Let it feel good for a moment. We're gonna finish with a spinal twist today. Just pull your right leg up into your belly. wind removing posture. You can give a little ankle roll for a final joint stretch of the foot. Then holding on with left, anchoring with right, let's twist crossbody. Traditional yogi twist. Now remember, if you pull it up higher, different stretch. If you take it down and away, different stretch. You can also advance this by straightening your front top leg out and grabbing a hold of it with your hand as you then do an L-style spinal twist. It's going to give you a little more energy, outer hip IT band, than just a lower back. But bending the knee is always fine, and that is traditional yogi twist. Really important when we're trying to detoxify our insides. Great for end of year, going into new year. Go ahead and come back through neutral. Take a second, do any little organic movement you need to switch. Then take wind removing on your second side, left side ankle rolls. Give that love down to the lower leg and foot. And then ride that breath crossbody, traditional yogi twist, second side. And once again, you can stay right here with this shoulder blade grounded and that upper back down, because we want that twist to happen in the midsection. If you want an advancement, you can just take that top leg and extend it long, trying to hold on to calf, ankle, or foot. Then reinvest in the twist as you come back across your body. Twists, originally you want to try to maybe stay in them up to 2 minutes, but 5 to 10 breaths is great. If you're in a hurry or you don't have a lot of time, just doing them in general is so important for mobility of the thoracic, the spinal column, and again, just massaging those internal organs. On your next breath, you can bend that leg and bring it back in. Both knees can come to chest once again for a little reset. Just make it feel good. And then very, very slowly take one leg out at a time into Shavasana. Shavasana is that place where we find total relaxation. It's what yoga is all about. It takes all that work we just did and allows the muscles to settle into their natural state. Take a couple breaths here, focusing on the inhale, and then matching the exhale. It's going to bring down your central nervous system, that fight or flight response, or anytime you're feeling panicked or short of breath, slow it down by breathing in slowly through the nostrils and exhaling long and calm through the mouth. Take a few breaths to just let that whole thing settle out. Taking a quiet meditation and realizing that we've just made it through another year. Congratulations to all of us, I would say, on getting through 2022. Your next breath, find small movements, hands and feet. Roll ankles and wrists. Roll to right or left side, fetal position, whichever makes the most sense in your skin, what feels good to your body as a sort of reset, or if you will, a rebirth into the next part of your day. Then using your top hand, just gently press yourself upward. Find a comfy seat, whatever that means to you. Grounded sit bones, shoulder heads over hips, head and neck long above our shoulder area. Take a big breath in. Nice open mouth exhale. Do that one more time. Big meditative breath in. Pull it from the deepest part of your body. Pull it through the diaphragm, the lungs. Hold it in your head for a moment. Let it feel like it's expanded. And then at the last moment, let all that breath out the mouth. You can even do a thing called the lion's breath, which is taking the tongue and really just detoxing all that junk out from our insides. You guys, it has been a year. I am honored always to be able to teach. Sorry, very emotional. Lion's breath. Do your lion's breath. I don't get to see you all, but I love you all. And I feel blessed and honored to be a practitioner, to take people to a place of health and wellness. So from my heart to yours, namaste. And I am looking forward to a drama-free 2023. You guys have a great rest of your year. Enjoy, be safe, and I will see you on the flip side. Take care.